Well, I've always been the kid that draws a lot, the artistic kid in the family or amongst my friends growing up. But the decision to take illustration as a career choice was around the pandemic. And having worked 6 years in a corporate setting, I just wanted, it didn't really serve me anymore. It didn't really have a creative purpose. And then as I was researching and, looking at the creative industries, I did see that there's a lot of misrepresentation and underrepresentation of not just Kannada and Karnataka culture, but also the same goes for South Asian culture. And that's a bridge that I wanted to kind of lessen the gap of. And I really do hope that my work continues to fix that, and especially in the lens of intersectional feminism, or just showcasing that our creative prowess isn't something that should be taken lightly and holds a lot more importance as anything else. One of the first things that I drew is something that I probably would have done, or anybody else would have done when they're 5 years old or 3 years old. Just exploring with colors and paints and, all kind of stationery that's available to them, and stick figures and basic trees and, the V-shaped birds and such. But the illustrations that I do now are definitely a lot more bigger, and they're detail oriented and all of that. But I think it was only possible because little old me was allowed to explore her creative and artistic inhibitions at that time. So yeah. I think, like most artists, at least the artists that I know, I can be a little indulgent when it comes to my art supplies. And I think I have way too many guilty pleasures to list down here, but nothing makes my day like a box of colors. And that can be like a box of gouache paints. I really do like gouache paints a lot. And if I do want to splurge on, I think it'll probably be them. I like how they feel. I like the kind of texture that they bring out on paper. It's butter sometimes, and it's so great. I love that. I like the way it feels. Yeah, it makes me really, really happy. One of my go-to remedies for creative blocks is just to not do anything at all and just take a break, especially when it comes to, if you're someone who does digital illustrations like I do, then probably kind of step away from the screens and read a book, or really, really go into nature and get your feet in the grass and things like that. Very kind of hippie stuff, but also talk to friends, go out with friends, and just kind of put whatever task you have in the background. Because sometimes what does happen is that, for me personally, if I'm too concerned about a certain project, then I'm not really able to think outside of it. Unless I zoom out and give it a break, then I come back with fresh eyes, and that really does help a lot. So yeah. Well, one piece of advice which I wish anybody would have given to me when I first started on the creative journey is to give yourself some grace. And it's also the same thing that I would say my younger self, because meandering through the creative industry, especially as a self-taught artist, can be a bit more challenging than someone who is mentored by an art institution, because you're really shooting in the dark sometimes. And I do think that you should give yourself some grace, and not in terms of being super egoistically proud, but just in the kind of ambit of, you know what, you got this. And I know it looks challenging, but you're gonna get there. pretty soon or maybe later, but you have to keep going.